Things might look normal on the streets of Gura Ferda in southern Ethiopia, but there is tension amongst different communities living here. There have already been several massacres in this region. Some of the indigenous communities are targeting those they describe as settlers and demanding them to leave the area or face death. This is the local hospital, and behind it there are more than 100 families living here. They are survivors of a recent massacre where more than 40 people were killed.
ወደ 11 ሰው ሬሳ ወድቋል በመሳሪያ ተመቱት በኋላ በገጀራ ቆርጦታል ታስረዋል ተዛባል በብላ አረደ ታንግታቸው ልጅ ነው ሚስቴ የባህር ልጅ ህፃን ልጅ ይታላልሽ አረዶ
These people are originally from other parts of the country. They belong to some of the largest ethnic groups in Ethiopia, like Amharas. As subsistence farmers, they were moved here by the government during the Great Famine in the 80s. For most of that time, the Amharas were living here peacefully, but now the indigenous groups like Sheko say the settlers are unfairly occupying the most fertile land.
እና ተኩሱ በጣም የከፋ ነው 35 ዓመት አብረን ነው የኖርነው አብረን እየበላን አብረን እየጠጣን አብረን ልጅም ቢድሩ ልጅም ብንድር አብረን እየተዳዳርን በዘንድሮ ዓመት ግን ምን እንደሆነ አይታወቅም ተነስተው አረዱ
ይራሉ አማራ እየተባለ አማራ ይውጣ እያሉኛ ድሆቹን አጠቃ ድሆቹን ሞት አማራ ይውጣ አማራ ይልቀቅ ነው
Since the current government led by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed came to power in 2018, all the ethnic grievances have turned violent. Previous regimes who were more authoritarian kept this under control. Ethnic conflict is not confined to this area. It's happening all over the country. Ethiopia is divided into 10 ethnically based regions, and in almost all of them, there is communal conflict. Thousands have been killed, millions displaced. People are fighting for political representation, competition over land and natural resources, and the national election is scheduled next month is fueling the violence. With more than 40 ethnic groups here in the southern nations and nationalities region, it's the most diverse area of the country. The rich, fertile land means there is fierce competition over control of this territory. The government have deployed security forces to keep peace, but even they have fallen victim to the local militia. On the day we arrived, they had lost 7 men in an ambush. It seems the military approach isn't working, so the government appointed community leaders known as ambassadors of peace. I traveled with them to a nearby village where there have been recent killings. Their main task is to calm the fears of local people and to eventually convince them to stay. Sisai Zerfu, who is deaf, has lived here for almost 20 years. He saw his neighbor's house on fire and rushed to help.
መንገዱ ላይ እኔ ወደዚህ እየመጣው ያው ቃጠሎ መስሎ ያላወቅኩም ለመጣት ሲል እዛ መንገዱ ላይ በከጀራ መታኝ ከዛ አመልጣለሁ ብዬ እንደገና ምንድነው ብዬ እንዲህ ስላለ ደግሞ ዘጀ ላይ መታኝ ከዛ
The community leaders were then taken to a house where 3 people were killed, a couple and their guest.
በዛ ገብቷሉ ደሙን ደሙን እዩ የተረጨደም ወንድሙ መቶ
የማን ደም ነው ይሄ የማቾች የሴቲዋ ደም
So it was just one group that went around killing everybody.
አንድ ቡድን ነው ይሄንን ሁላ ነገር
አንድ ቡድን ነው እነሱ የከበቡን ባወቀ ጊዜ
እነሱ ነው መጡ
ያው ስለዚህ በዚህ ተኩዟሉ ልጁ መስኮቱ ሰብሮ ነው ህይወቱ የደረበ ሴቲዋ እዚህ ላይ ተወጋች ቤት ገብቶ ሰብሮ ገብቶ ይሄን ወጉ
For now, all the ambassadors of peace can do is listen to the victims' stories, but they are all suspicious of each other. Back in Gura Ferda, Kindu and his brother tell me they are seen as outsiders here. Their parents came from Amhara region, but both of them were born here.
እናትና አባቴን ከዛ የእናቴ እናት የ12 ዓመት እህቴን ገለዋቸዋል በለቱ ማለት ነው። ምንም አይሰማኝ ነገር አለ ቢሰማኝስ ምን አቅም አለኝ? አቅም ሲኖር እኮ ከእግዚአብሔር ውጭ ማለት ነው።
Haunted by the brutal murder of his loved ones, all he is left with are a couple of old photos. Kindu was not able to give his family a dignified burial, so he took me to where he buried their bodies.
የኔ እናት የኔ አባት ከዛ እናቴ ከዛ እህቴ የእናቴ እናት አራት ሰው ምንም ማድረገው ነገር የለም። ያው አልቀሼ ነው የቀበርኩት። እኛ ከማልቆስ ውጭ ምን አቅም አለን እኛ?
In a country with so many different ethnic groups, it's hard to address the issues of poverty, inequality, and injustices that exist between communities. And with the general election weeks away, the stakes couldn't be higher.